All right, welcome back to the channel, The Psychology of Golf. Dr. Mark P. Otten here from Cal State Northridge, back with you in Hawaii again. This is the second Hawaii video out of two. And yes, it was windy over there. My tripod kept blowing over. Well, not every hole, but this sort of thing happened at Kahuku, where I played the day before this particular video. This particular video is coming from Kapolei Golf Course, Kapolei Golf Club in Oahu, my second of two Oahu videos. Kapolei is over on the southwest side of the island, as you can see there on the map. It is close to, let's see, on the west side there is Ko'olina, which there's a big Disney resort over there. There's a golf course over there as well. And then just on the other side is Ewa Beach, which has about 27 golf courses. Well, maybe not that many, but quite a few. Ewa Beach, for example, golf course is over there, close by. So Kapolei is kind of in between these particular locations. It is a little bit more protected from the weather, I would say. I'm not the ultimate expert on Hawaii weather, but it's a little bit drier on the west side of the island, I believe, than the east side. So less rain, more sunshine, probably is typical at Kapolei. So in my other golf in Hawaii video that I mentioned, I played Kahuku, which is a low budget option on the opposite side of Oahu. And Kapolei is a place that I got to play because of the Psychology of Golf YouTube channel. So a big shout out to Rob, the director of golf at Kapolei, who I emailed in advance. And he was kind enough to exchange a free tee time for the advertising that we're offering Kapolei by putting them up on this YouTube video. So I will also put a link in the description to the highlights from the 2021 LPGA tournament that they held at Kapolei. That tournament, LPGA has been in this part of Oahu, I think, for many years. Kapolei used to host one consistently, and then it didn't, and then it did again in 2021. And the event, I believe, was won by Lydia Ko. I was looking back through those scores, and I was like, this is how I wish I could play. She shot like 7 under like every single round of the tournament. It was amazing. Anyway, I did not shoot 7 under on this particular day, but I was thrilled to be out there and extremely grateful for the opportunity. The course conditions out there are amazing. The color, I mean, just the color of the grass. I mean, you'll see it here, is amazing. And that's despite the fact that they had aerated the greens. Rob warned me. He's like, hey, we aerated the greens like a week ago. Is that okay? And I was like, yeah, for sure. It's okay. Doesn't matter to me. So you might see a little bit of that evidence out there, but really it was minimal evidence. And the fairways and all the bunkers, everything was just really well done. So I was thoroughly impressed by this golf course. And like I said, thrilled to be out there, the opportunity. This is the scorecard. I decided to play the black tees, which were 6,586 yards, which is a little bit of a stretch for me as a 9 handicap. But I'm pretty sure those were the same tees that the LPGA players played. So I was like, that's kind of cool. See how I do. I also was renting clubs, and that's going to be a topic of conversation in this video. So the day before, I had hit the rental driver, and I was achieving some reasonably good distance for me, at least, with that rental driver. So I was like, okay, I'll take on the black tees instead of the white. Overall, I mean, there's a gold tee. They didn't have the gold tees marked on this particular day, but I think you probably could have played them at 7,000 yards if you wanted an additional challenge. That was not for me, certainly. But par 72, and let's get into the visuals here and the holes. So, as usual, I have a little course map for each hole on here. and I have ratings. So each hole gets a rating on fear, how scared you might be when you're stepping up to the tee, or what kind of pressure or visual, just like hazards might be present in your visual field as you walk up to the tee or get close to the green. And then the fun rating, which is, these are 1 to 18. So the most fun hole is going to get a 1. The least fun, 18. Same thing with the fear scale. And for me, on these holes, this is for all first impression. First time I've ever played Kapolei. So someone with more experience playing this course than you might, just leave a comment in the description, or in the, just leave a comment below if you want, and tell me that I'm crazy for rating hole 1 only a 10 on the fun rating. But I was ready to have fun on every hole, because this was Hawaii, and this was a tremendously nice golf course and a great opportunity for me. So really every hole was a blast out there on this particular day. So relative to the other holes, hole 1 as a par 5 was in the middle of the pack in terms of how scary it was, and same thing for fun. So on this hole, there is a water hazard to the left, but for me, it didn't really factor in too much. Okay, here's the visuals. Get ready to see some green grass, some beautiful clouds floating by, some blue sky, some birds flying by. Oh man, this is quite a scene. So I was just like super thrilled to be hitting this shot. I was hoping that it wouldn't be a wild one given my excitement, but I managed to stay on the right side of the fairway here with my first shot. And like I said, there is water over there, but some of the water hazards on this course are like more present, more close to the fairway, more scary looking than others. So usually what I'm trying to do, and what I did here, is I went right side, and this is what I was aiming for to avoid the water, but I didn't necessarily need to go so far right. Okay, so let's talk about this 4-iron for a minute. So I had some rental clubs. Like I said, I hit the day before. And I've only rented clubs like maybe 2 times in my life. I haven't played a lot of destination golf where I travel somewhere and I either go without my clubs or don't plan ahead or whatever. So I was using unfamiliar clubs. They were nice. They're actually a little bit nicer than my own clubs. But in the other video, with the one I play Kahuku, I talk about how I was just trying to act normal. Like, that's the psychology of it. If I would hit a pitching wedge on this shot, normally I'll hit a pitching wedge with the rental club, and I'll just do the same stuff I always do, and I'll pretend it's normal. And it was actually working for me the day before pretty well. The other thing is to not feel like you don't want to hit clubs that you're not familiar with. So like, this rental set came with some hybrid clubs. I don't hit hybrid clubs normally, so I skipped those. I was like, I'm just gonna not even hit practice with the hybrid clubs. No worries. However, this set of clubs came with a 4-iron, and normally at home I hit a 2-iron. I have this old-fashioned 2-iron that I hit, which is not common, not something that most golfers do these days, hitting a 2-iron. This set came with a 4-iron, so I was like, okay, I'll just hit the 4-iron in situations when I might normally hit my 2-iron at home. So you just saw me hit out of some rough from about 350 yards out. So I'm just trying to get a clean strike on it, and that's why I'm using an iron here instead of a fairway wood. Same thing for this next shot. I mean, that previous shot did not go very far, was not very good. And again, I'm like, all right, normally I would hit my 2-iron here. And it just wasn't going well. This 4-iron was way off to the right. So I'm already kind of putting myself in trouble behind some bunkers here with this 4-iron. I'm not adjusting to it very well. I probably should have left it in the bag from this point on, but I didn't. And so we'll come back to this fateful 4-iron here. And we'll talk more about confidence in individual clubs, the psychology of hitting individual clubs from your bag. All right, so I'm in a terrible position here with a bunker in front of me. I managed to get over the bunker, but I kind of cooked the chip a little bit too much because I was scared that I would go into the bunker and this hole would be like a 12 on the first hole of the day. So now I've got a super long par putt. Some putts on this day I left short because, like I mentioned, the greens had been aerated. But like, can you tell? I guess if you're looking really closely at this video, you can tell that they're aerated. But, oh no. Well, that was a 3-putt to open the day. All right. So I have started the round with a double bogey. I'm super excited to be out there, and I start the round with a double bogey. Oh man, that's rough for me. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? I've been hitting these rental clubs well. I had a reasonable amount of confidence in my brain that I was playing decent golf and that I could come back, and that I was also feeling good psychologically to be excited. I was excited to be out there. So I was thinking resilience here a little bit as I stepped up to the second hole. And we'll see how it worked out. The second hole was number 1 handicap. Now, I only gave it a fear rating of 8 because when I stepped up to this hole, I was like, oh, there's bunkers left and right, but there's no water. And it looked inviting, given that it was pretty lengthy, 407 yards. And the second shot, the approach shot, was uphill here, as I recall. So I think that added to the handicap score probably for folks. Fun rating 12. I'll show you this here. I mean, this visual, man, like I mentioned, the color of the grass, just the colors being out here in Hawaii, everything just seems bright color. So hopefully that's captured here in the YouTube video. All right, so I'm trying to recover from the double bogey. I'm like, you know what? I've been hitting the ball pretty well. That double bogey does not represent me as a golfer. And I'm not too scared here, but I did hit the drive a little bit left. So the first drive I hit was a little bit right. Second drive here, I tried to overcompensate slightly, went left. Luckily, I mean, look at this. I'm like 1.5 feet from that bunker. So I got lucky, which was useful. And I hit a decent recovery shot here to get back out into the middle of the fairway. And so from here, this is the shot that recovered, like, got me back on track. There's often one shot that'll get you back on track if you're trying to recover from some follies on the golf course. This was the shot. I didn't even know it exactly when I hit it. This was a chip from about 70 yards out, I think. I was like, this is an elevated green. I mean, it looks great. It's fun to look at. I don't know where this ball went. Well, that's where it went. It was like, left me a 4-footer for par to get back to bogey golf here at least. Double bogey, par start, and I got it. Yeah. Whew. Okay. Deep breath on to hole number 3. All right, hole number 3. Another hole of similar distance to hole 2, but the difference here is that this thing is downhill and will kick your ball forward quite a bit. I think it did for me here. So fear rating 16, fun rating 9. The fear rating is low. 16 is the third least scary golf hole on the course. And that's partly due to the length, the downhill component, and partly due to another visual that just, these first few holes were like, I was like, yeah, there's bunkers. There's definitely always bunkers, it seems like, on this course. But that seemed to be it so far, at least to this point. At least when I'm looking at it here, I'm like, okay, I just need to, if I hit it straight, it'll go to the left of the right bunker and to the right of the left bunker. It's just framing the fairway. And this one, like I said, is downhill. So, a good result. That shot, that chip on number 2, previous hole, has gotten me back on track. So now I'm in the middle of the fairway for the first time. This is a nice feeling. These fairways are perfect condition. I mean, wow. It's not just middle of the fairway, it's the middle of a nice fairway. Okay, so then I'm hitting a 9-iron here into the green from the black tees. So I mean, I'm not bombing the ball 300 yards, and yet I'm still hitting 9-iron into the green. That's good. Got a little bit lucky here again because I close to that bunker, but I was just short of it, and I hit a really nice putt from the fringe. So, psychology of golf, Dr. Otten has just made 2 pars in a row, and I am cooking again. Okay. Talking about how I'm not too scared here. of the visuals. And what's happening is that when I went back and rated these holes, there's a stretch of holes here on the front 9 where the fun ratings just slightly outweigh the fear ratings. The holes are just not quite as scary as they are fun looking, which is a great opportunity. That's why I'm calling these birdie holes, is because, hey, like, you step up to this hole, you see a great visual, and you see bunkers, but you don't see a lot of other things to scare you. And that's a good feeling, I think. Now, on the back 9 and some of the later holes, the water starts to come in really, really strong. So you'll see that. And then, okay, so I felt good on this drive, but let's take a look at this rough. I mean, if you're watching my feet on some of these shots in the rough, first of all, this one's a downhill lie below my feet. So there's a lot of uphill and downhill lies. And then, like, the rough is really thick in places. I mean, maybe not this particular shot, but if you miss the fairway, there is a clear distinction. I mean, it's a really clear distinction between fairway and rough. So that's the other thing that sneaks in here as a real challenge at Kapolei, is rough, hitting out of the rough. This one, I hit a low 9-iron by accident. So I got out of the rough and onto the back side of the green here, but I had like another putt from the fringe, and I don't think this one came out clean. Putting from the fringe is tricky. I did a pretty good job of it on this day, but this one, I mean, that came up, it's still like 20 feet short of the hole or something like that. So, yeah. The wind is also a factor, or was a factor on this day. You can see it blowing there, blowing over my tripod on multiple occasions, as I mentioned earlier. Yeah, so that was a 3-putt, unfortunately, on this particular green. So I managed to go back to bogey golf there, number 4. All right, number 5 is a par 3, first par 3 of the day. Par 3s for me at Kapolei are not as, I think where Kapolei really stands out to me is some of the par 5s and a couple of the par 4s with the water features that are like intruding upon the visual and your psychology. That are really, the water just messes you up a lot on this course. But I didn't give this par 3 a particularly high fear rating 10, sort of middle of the pack, fun rating 8. And the reason I didn't give it, I mean, some folks might look at this hole and see that, I mean, it's a big water hazard on the left there. And you might get a little scared if you're not hitting your iron shots well to start the day. This is the first par 3 with a big water hazard on the left. The front of the green falls off. So you're like, if you're short, you're going to roll back down a little bit. But let me just note also, you're looking back inland. I think this is toward the north, and you got these hills with these housing developments. This is a nice area. And so, like, when you're looking back inland on this course, you get not only the hills and the view there, but you get the clouds that build up over the hills. And they're these like Hawaii clouds that are like friendly. They're not delivering a lot of rain, but it makes for a great scene, like really fun to look at. So anyway, the water hazard wasn't scaring me too much on this par 3 because it was off to the left. I didn't feel like I was going to go over there. So I hit this 6-iron, but I didn't hit it great. And I hit that part of like I mentioned, the front part of the, like short of the green, it falls back down. So it actually hit and then rolled back down, I think. So I was left with a not ideal position here, but my sand wedge on this day, my chipping club here was getting me out of trouble. So I hit a great chip again here, and then I managed to save par. So nice job by me. You see some of the cars going by. I should mention this neighborhood. Like I said, it's a nice area. The neighborhood comes into play here. Well, it doesn't come into play, but you can see it here and there from the side, and there's nice homes. They're not huge homes, but they're really nice homes. Seems like it'd be a great place to live right along Kapolei Golf Course. Man. All right, hole number 6, par 4. This is a fun hole. It messed me up a little bit, this hole. But there's a good amount of variety here. There's like a creek that runs along the right side. The houses are along the left, and it's a dog leg left. And then the bunkers, I mean, look at the bunkers on the little diagram there. They're like 4 or 5 little dots in front of the green. Like, it's very creative. And then there's a long, narrow one on the right side. So the play here is to go left. I gave this a really high fun rating of 5. The fear was 12 because I looked out and I was like, yeah, there's space. I can just cut the left side a little bit and maybe I'll be all right. I'm not too worried about it. Also 337 yards, not too far. But I really pulled this one and I was like, oh no, I just went into the backyard of a house. Uh-oh. And when I in this particular moment, I had no idea where it was. I was like, am I going to have to look for this for 30 minutes? Uh-oh. So my driver was not coming out real consistent here at the beginning of the day. Here's the result though. It wasn't too bad. It was right like along the cart path there. Problem was I had these nice looking trees in front of me. I mean, I wanted to just take a look at the trees and admire the style of the trees, but instead I had to try to hit over them. And I don't know if that shot tracer is exactly accurate, but I did clip the leaves at the top of that tree with my 8-iron. I was like, man, I'm a little bit further out than an 8-iron would normally be, so I got to really get under it and hit it hard, and I didn't quite get enough. So then I dropped down into this area in front of the green, and this is one of these little tiny bunkers that you saw on the map. I wouldn't want to be in there. Luckily, I didn't go in there. But those are some like almost like pot bunkers you'd see in at a British at a open course over there. Interesting stuff. And then look at the hills, like the rolling up and down hills here. So a lot of variety on this hole, and it seems very unique in that way. Like this hole was unlike a lot of the others on the course. So anyway, hit a pretty good chip there over the bunker. Safely over the bunker, and then I think I managed to 2-putt here for my bogey. Yeah, hole 6 is recommended, man. There's some variety, there's some interesting trees, the bunkers, everything is a little bit unique for hole number 6. Okay, hole number 7, 553-yard par 5. Not super standout. I mean, some of the par 5s here are really interesting and fun. This one is interesting and fun. Maybe just not quite as, it's not my highest rated par 5 on fun. And also not quite as scary as some of the others. So you're kind of turning around that creek on the right kind of ends and it opens up a little bit here on the right side. Handicap 3. I mean, handicap 3, that's a high or I guess a low number on the handicap scale. 553 yards is probably the reason for that. So I'm calling it a birdie hole. Yeah, there's the creek on the right there, but it ends and then it opens up to a lot of space. So just blast away. This is one where you need to wind up and hit your best driver. And I didn't really do that here. I'm missing some fairways is what I'm doing. I'm going into that rough that I talked about that is thick at times. And then when I do that on these par 5s, I'm like, hey, I'm going to hit my 4-iron. Oh, gosh. Do I have to watch this shot? I mean, it's a tough shot. I just hit it about 80 yards along the ground. And then, okay, normally what would I do? I would hit another low iron here. Here comes another 4-iron. This one actually was not... I mean, I hit a lot of bad 4-irons on this particular day. This one was not as bad as some because it got me back into the middle of the fairway. Didn't go very far though. So I'm like now playing for birdie from 160 yards out. But I'm like, keep thinking like, man, I would normally hit a low iron here, so I should just hit my 4-iron and learn it. That's what I was thinking. And that was kind of a mistake because I wasn't learning it. The 5-iron was doing fine. And I like, what's the difference between a 5-iron and a 4-iron? Not a lot. I have a 5-iron normally, so I'm used to 5-irons. I think the length of the club was more familiar and so on. So anyway, the wind was blowing, as I recall, pretty strong on this hole, so I had that to contend with as well. Hit another pretty nice chip here to get myself back into contention for bogey. Didn't want to make double here. Never want to make double bogey, but oof, that one snuck in the left side. Okay. Whew, crisis averted, bogey there. Moving on to hole number 8. the 4-iron did me in on certain holes, but that one I managed to recover decently well. All right, par 3, 8th hole. Fun rating 18, the least fun hole on the golf course. Well, like I mentioned, I'm at Kapolei, and Kapolei is a brilliant golf course. So the least fun hole at Kapolei is still like so much more fun than average. But given that, this was a fairly lengthy par 3, 175 yards, bunker on the right, houses on the left. But as you'll see here, I mean, well, first of all, the view is nice, looking back towards those hills and the clouds. So there's that. But otherwise, just blast away toward the green. Just hit it straight. And you guessed it, I'm hitting a 4-iron again. It didn't go so well. It wasn't terrible. This was not my worst 4-iron of the day. Stay tuned for that. It got me off to the right side here, a little bit short. Just the contact wasn't clean with the 4-iron at all the whole day. But here, at least it got me a little bit distance there. Chipping up to try to save par from behind the bunker. Giving myself a chance. The formula on this day was screw it up with a 4-iron and then save it with a heroic wedge shot. Oh, this one. Well, couldn't quite make the putt there to finish off the save. So back to bogey golf again for me. You can see the houses back there again. I mentioned the neighborhood. All right, hole number 9. I think disclaimer, I think I missed one of the shots on film on hole number 9. But hole number 9 is a fun rating 4, fear rating 2. You can see on the map that there is a gigantic water hazard on the left, and it's really nice. I mean, this is just, you're going back toward the clubhouse here. The visuals are great. There's like a little waterfall as you go toward the back of the water hazard there and in the front of the clubhouse. And then, like I also noticed on this hole, as you, I'll show you, as you walk up to the tee box, I guess you can't quite see it there on the right side, but there were some unusual birds making sounds in the bushes on this hole. I felt like I was back in the jungle a little bit. So and you can see the water if you peer to the left side there. The water is along the left. So great, a great scene here at hole number 9. And I was trying to avoid the water. So like I said, sometimes the water on this course, I was like, I need to hit it to the other side to avoid it. This was one of those holes. Not every hole was like that. But I just blasted this one off to the right. So I overcompensated. Definitely the psychology here was like, don't hit it left. Don't go in the water. And so I hit it way right. And I was just kind of chuckling to myself because I was like, well, there is room over there. But, yeah, you're left with something that looks like this trying to climb back over the hill. And I was like, I'm going to hit a 4-iron. Gosh. Oh, that went about 20 feet. Chunked it out of the rough. I mean, this is pretty thick rough. You can see my feet kind of sinking in here to the rough as I try to get my footing. So this one I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hit a 5-iron now. So I'm starting to abandon the 4-iron. I probably should have abandoned it much sooner, but anyway, punch out with the 5-iron, and this is where I missed a shot. So I would have loved for that 5-iron to go onto the green like this, but I think it landed about 100 yards short. So then I hit a chip. And I'm sad that I missed the video on that chip, because you would have seen the water hazard and the little waterfall and stuff along the left side with a better view of the clubhouse. Here you just see the clubhouse a little bit along the trees in the back there. So you kind of miss a little bit like why I rated this hole as a number 4 fun. It's just nice. Very nice finish to the front 9. However, for me, a double bogey on the scorecard. So +8 after 9 holes. Not a disaster, but not probably my top pick for what I would have wanted on the scorecard for the front 9. All right, looking at the back, hoping for a better start. Took a little break, got a hot dog. The hot dog was like $4.50, by the way, at the snack bar, which is very convenient right there by the turn. So I recommend that little snack bar, by the way. So side note. All right, back 9, hole number 10, handicap 4, par 4. So pretty difficult, 389 yards. Fear rating 6. What happens here is that you start to see on the back 9 that the water, well, starting really with hole number 9, the water becomes just all over the place in your visual field when you're stepping up to the tee. And so I'm gonna rate these holes a little bit more scary. Now, like if you're an experienced Kapolei golfer, you're probably not scared of these water hazards too much because you know where to put it. You know where to put the golf ball. You know how to avoid them. Usually there's an out, and so like you can play it to the left if you're worried about going to the right, or even if you're worried about going to the right, there might be some extra room in the fairway, but you get the water looming there. So for me, the water looming is going to figure into my fear ratings. This is a 6, which is a pretty strong fear rating. Fun rating 7, because again, I mean, look at this visual. Man, it's just so green. And then when you get the blue sky and then the blue water and then the palm trees and everything, oh man, it's so cool. Of course, here I'm adding in the beige color of the sand, which I'm hitting the ball directly into. Again, overcompensating for the water on the right. Did not want to go to the right, so I went too far left. So Kapolei is affecting me here. It's I give it credit. This one, this bunker shot, I mean, first of all, I had no shot at the green, so I was just punching out with a sand wedge. But this particular fairway bunker also did not have a lot of thick, fluffy sand, so I was able to kind of catch it clean. So difficult shot in that you're stuck behind a hill there, but the lie was not terrible. So I was able to get out back into the fairway, and then you've got a little bit of an uphill look at the approach shot here. Luckily, I have a sand wedge, so I'm not too far out. Accidentally took a huge divot there, which caused the ball to stop on the green, like the pros can stop the ball on the green. That was an accident. Didn't mean to spin it that much. All right, I just wanted to freeze it on this. One, I remember when I got to the green and turned around to look at the clouds and the hillsides back there. I was like, oh man, I gotta turn the camera, put the camera behind the hole to capture this scene. So it's just really nice. Did I mention that I enjoyed the experience? Oh man. All right, massive par putt here, and I made it. No, I fooled you. I didn't make it, but I hit a pretty good putt there. Yeah. So tap in bogey. Need to get back on the par trail here. It's been a while. All right, at least for me, it's been a while. All right, hole number 11, handicap 14. Pretty friendly looking handicap score, 354 yards. Not too far, but fear rating 4, fun rating 2. This hole was memorable, and you'll see why it was for me. But on the map, that water hazard that was along the 10th hole, you're turned around now, and you're going along the other side of the water hazard, and it is right there. I mean, this one jumps right up to the edge of the green almost, and also the fairway on the right side. And it's a dogleg right. So if you're stepping up to the tee here and you're looking toward the green, well, first of all, more fancy looking clouds there. But if you're looking toward the green, the water hazard is in between you and the green because of the dogleg to the right. So even though, I mean, it said 354 yards, but I was thinking I could get pretty close to the green if I aimed for it. But I didn't want to aim for it because if I was short, I was going to go into the water. So interesting collection of strategy options here on this hole, which I really appreciate. So I tried to keep it pretty simple here with my tee shot, go left of that water hazard. And I figured if I went left of the water, I probably wouldn't hit it through the fairway too far. So I just blasted away, and it turned out well. I think I was a little bit off the fairway on the left side in the rough here, yeah, but not by much. I mean, again, this rough was tricky at times. So, I mean, look, I was like 3 feet from the fairway. That's a big deal. If I'm 3 feet off the fairway, that's a big deal because it's a much tougher shot if you're in the rough. So that's true. The golf is playing true. The course is playing true in a sense. In that way, because if you hit the fairway, you're rewarded. You know what I mean? That was a good shot out of the rough, though, for me. And it left me with this shot from the fringe. And are you watching? Are you paying attention? Look at this shot from the fringe. In. A birdie. My one Kapolei birdie for the day. Spoiler alert, this was my only birdie of the day. Let me talk about how I felt a little bit there. Because, like, all right, so I finished the front nine with like a bunch of 4-iron shots that I don't normally hit that stunk. And so I still was pulling together a decent score, +8 after 9 holes. It's decent for me. It's not great, especially for me on a new course with rental clubs. I'll forgive myself for that. All right. So I'm feeling okay about my score, but not great. So then, like, when I make birdie there, it's not like a yes, this is like just clean enjoyment with no regrets. It's more like, I've made some mistakes today, but hey, at least I got one. That was more the feeling, which is not necessarily the same feeling as if you're just like, oh man, I'm having a good day and I just made birdie. Clean enjoyment. I'm completely happy. But that feeling, the completely happy feeling, is rare in golf. I mean, like only Lydia Ko, maybe, or some folks who have won golf tournaments like her get to experience that consistently. So for me, I'll take it. I mean, this was a birdie that was in the face of some 2 double bogeys that I had, and so it was amid adversity I was able to sneak a birdie in here. And that's a little different feeling. So going up to the next hole, I was like, well, like, let me see if I can capture this feeling and move it forward, which is the goal. But I wasn't like, in the back of my mind, I was like, still, I've hit some bad shots today. So I was still trying to recover from all of that. And I think I probably, like, what a sports psychologist, if there was time, what a sports psychologist could have done in that moment is sit down with me, or I could sit down with myself, as it were, and be like, hey, all right, let's forget about those 4-irons. Let's forget about those bad shots. Let's wipe that out and maybe not hit a 4-iron again. And then remember, you just made a birdie and move and use that feeling. I wasn't quite there. And so, but I'm going to get into a little bit better place in a minute. So the birdie didn't quite do it for me, as you'll see. Hole number 12, par 3, 167 yards. This one, it's similar to hole number 8, the other par 3 here, in that I didn't give it a fun rating that was very strong. Fun rating 17, fear rating 15. Pretty straightforward in the sense that you're just looking at it. There's a water hazard way off to the right, but you just need to hit a straight iron shot. However, Dr. Otten decides, okay, I'm going to give my 4-iron one more chance because it makes sense to hit a 4-iron here. Oh my gosh. This one I just chunked. Like, I mean, I took a divot out of the tee box and I hit it about 30 yards along the cart path. Let's see a replay of me dropping the club again. This is me deciding the 4-iron is done. A decision I probably should have made after the first hole. But I was like, no, I'm persistent. I want to get this club right. That was a mistake. So officially, I'm done with the 4-iron. That actually was immediately a weight off my shoulders. I'm like, I can fill that gap with either a 3-wood or a 5-iron. I don't need the 4-iron anymore. I'm done. Well, first I need to get out of trouble here. But this was a weight off my shoulders that I will talk about more in a second. This is the recovery shot after I hit the ball 30 yards. I barely made it past the red tees, I think. And then I'm hitting a 7-iron out of the rough, off of a uneven lie. It was actually a decent shot. So I managed to get to the back of the green here. Now, this is when I was like, okay, the formula that I mentioned to this point is to hit the 4-iron poorly and then to rely on my sand wedge to get me out of trouble. But I was starting to think, man, the sand wedge, I'm asking a lot of my sand wedge to always get me out of trouble. But on this hole, I was like, you know what? I just gave up my 4-iron. I'm done. So it was almost like I told my sand wedge, hey, just get me out of trouble one more time because I'm not going to torture you anymore. And it did. I mean, I don't talk to my golf clubs, but that was the feeling. It was like, sand wedge, just get me out of trouble one more time. And like one more time is doable, but if it's like the whole day, then I start to feel like, oh man, like I can't do this. Like this is not sustainable. I'm going to hit a bad sand wedge here or there at some point. Okay, so I was feeling refreshed. I got the 4-iron out of my system. The sand wedge helped me recover, make bogey. Whew. 6 more holes. No more 4-iron. All right. And I've got a birdie on my scorecard too for the back 9, which helps if I'm looking at my score. So on to hole number 13. This is the handicap 2 par 4, 414 yards. So some distance here. Fun rating 15. There is a water hazard along the right side. Fear rating 11. The water hazard didn't present itself very in a very scary way for me. So I stepped up here and I was like, yes, there's some distance, but I can probably just blast away with some space on both sides. I mean, I really want to get in the fairway. I've been missing some fairways and getting into the rough and the bunkers and stuff. But like, if the fairway is wider, then I feel less pressure. Here I felt a little bit less pressure. I just wanted to get the ball out there. And with the relief of having moved on from my 4-iron, I was able to swing freely and hit the ball into the fairway here. And then this is a shot when I could have hit a 4-iron. The 4-iron would have fit, but I'm like, no, I am done. I'm going to hit a 3-wood, which is like I over clubbed it. But what I did there, and I don't know if you can tell, but I swung kind of easy. It was like an easy 4-iron. It was an easy 3-wood, and it was great. It was an excellent shot for me. A 3-wood. I mean, it was only like 100 and something yards, 180 yards maybe, but I swung just like a easy swing. Managed to get it to the back of the green here. I was excited. I was like, my 4-iron is done. The 3-wood can get the job done. Can I 2-putt for par? Well, this is a little bit of a sweaty lag putt here. Yeah, okay. Whew. Okay, made par. First hole without the 4-iron, made par. All right, I'm excited. Hole number 14, so I'm excited. And then hole number 14 comes along. And I didn't know, I mean, this is all first impression for me, but I didn't know that hole number 14 would end up being number 1 on fun and number 1 on fear. Wow, what's going on with hole? It's a par 5. What's going on with this one? Well, there is a water hazard that comes in the middle of this hole, which is different. And so when I stepped up, like if you're looking at the map here, you've got a tee shot to the first fairway, and then there's a water hazard, and then you got a second shot to the second fairway. It's like a split there. So if you're looking at this, you can see the kind of the shiny water hazard there as we look back into the sun a little bit. It comes all the way across the fairway, so I'm thinking, okay, I need to measure my yardage here. Can I hit a full driver? If I hit it well, am I going to trickle into the water? For the most part, I felt like the answer was no. So I was like, okay, I'm still going to hit driver, but I'm also probably not going to hit like a blast that's like as hard as I can. So I'm going to hit kind of just a fluid driver. And then there's like a right to left slope to the fairway. So, I mean, there's just tons of variety here. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll just hit a relatively normal driver swing and aim for the right side of the fairway. And I did. This was a good shot. I think it hit along the right side of the fairway and kicked left just like I hoped. Back of my mind, I was like, did it kick all the way into the water? Like, did it kick too far? I'm inexperienced with this whole course. No, this was a perfect tee shot. So then I've been hitting my 3-wood well, as you just saw. So I'm like, sometimes I have trouble getting my 3-wood in the air, but I just hit a good one. Should I hit it here? Yes, I should. I just hit a good one. Oh, man. Look at this shot. Oh, I don't know if the tracer quite captured it, but I hit a line drive that landed like 3, maybe 6 feet past the water and stuck. Didn't even get out of the rough. That was like a 100-yard 3-wood that just barely cleared the water. Oh, man. So that was a scary shot for me, and that's the main reason why I ended up scoring this number one on fear is you have this shot out of the fairway off the ground and you got to clear the water. And I mean, it's a 3-wood shot. Like it's a fairway wood for, like by definition, because you're probably 300 yards out. So again, I was conflicted on this shot. Should I hit the 3-wood? Yes, because I've been hitting it well. But I was also off the tee. I don't know. Like I was like, should I do it? This is a 3-wood off the ground, not just a 3-wood, but a 3-wood off the ground. Historically, if you've watched some of my other videos, historically I sometimes have trouble getting a 3-wood to go in the air off the ground. It's just a challenge of mine. So do I go with the history and be like, yes, I have trouble with this shot? Or do I go with the recent success? Be like, no, I'm hitting it well today. I think the history got in the way a little bit here and caused me to hit a low one, dangerous shot. But I got through it. Whew. I think in general you want to rely a little bit on both. You want to rely on your recent history, but you also rely, if it's helpful, you rely on your long-term history in terms of like how confident to be with a particular club or a particular type of shot. Here I managed to catch the 5-iron clean out of the rough, which was a huge shot. This was like a big deal. I was like holding my heart there because I was like, oh, I hit a good shot after the previous one was nearly disastrous. That was a great 5-iron out of the rough to get me up onto the green and putting for birdie. Yeah, so there was a couple shots here in this round that were especially clutch, and I think that was one of them. So I managed to make a lag putt here to give myself a chance for par on the most fun and the most scary hole on the golf course. A little bit of a sweaty par putt there, but I got it done. All right, on to hole number 15. So I'm feeling pretty good now. I mean, just made par on this par 5 that was scary. I've got a birdie to my name on the back 9. I dropped my 4-iron. It's no longer with me. Well, it's in the bag. But I wouldn't want to like leave it on the course. The next group finds my 4-iron sitting there. Maybe I could throw it into the water. No, that's not the right way to do it. I gently put it back in my bag and let it sit there. So I'm feeling pretty good, having left the 4-iron behind. All right, hole number 15, all kinds of water here, but I only gave it a fear rating of 7 because the water seemed to be a little bit less scary than, let's say, hole 11 or certainly hole 14. So moderately scary water hazards on both sides. Fun rating 6 because of some variety here on hole 15. So yeah, you can see, I mean, I'm trying to drive over that water hazard on the left, but like I really only need to get it about 150 yards to clear it, and I'm hitting driver, so I just need to get it up in the air and hit a good one. And I did. I think I did. I'm hitting fairways now. It only took me like 13 holes to figure it out. All right, this one was funny because it was the only hole on the golf course where they did not have a flag stick. This was like a twilight time now, about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't know if somebody was just cleaning up the course and didn't expect me to still be playing out there. But there was no flag stick, which was interesting because I didn't know where to aim. Like I didn't know where to buy the flag stick anyway. I didn't know which side of the green, left or right, front or back it was. And that's interesting because like I feel like that's actually kind of good in a way because you're just aiming for the center of the green or the biggest area of the green that's not affected by bunkers or close to the hazard. And you're not worried about the flag. You're not pin hunting in that way. I think that's actually good psychology normally. Like don't even think about the pin. Just hit to the most open part of the green or the center of the green. So that's what I did here. Of course, I was aiming right of center, and I ended up going left of center. You might be able to see the hole now in the distance there. You might not. It looks like a leaf on the ground. But I went left of center and a little bit too far. But then I hit a nice chip. The sand wedge. The sand wedge was my MVP club today. Getting me out of some of these lies around the green and some of the shots less than 50 yards. So nice job by the rental sand wedge for sure. And I was able to save par. All right, now I'm cooking. The back 9, I've got a good score going. Nice job by me. We'll see about the last 3 holes, however. Okay, hole number 16. This one, fear rating 5, fun rating 13, 187 yards. So it's another par 3 that for me did not, again, like the par 4s and the par 5s, I think for me stood out a little bit more in the variety and how fun they were. But leave me a comment if you played Kapolei before and enjoyed these par 3s too. This one, there's a water hazard that comes across. It's not real close to the green though. I mean, okay, so this was a 3-wood. I'm trying to get over the water. So I was trying to get over my memory of having hit my 3-wood close to the water on that par 5 a couple holes ago. But this was another great 3-wood. If I just teed it up a little bit on this day, the 3-wood was getting the job done for me. So fantastic. And I also played the wind right. It was going left to right, and I started it left to the green, and it blew back in. Woohoo! Oh yeah, this was the other hole where the pin was out. So I was just aiming for the center of the green. There wasn't just 15, it was 16. 2 holes where the pin was out. However, I did not hit a very good putt there. I left myself with like 8 feet back into the beautiful scenery. I mean, back into the shade where the hole is there. And a 3-putt. Oh man, I was feeling so good with the 3-wood there. Clearing the water, and then 3-putt. Such is golf. All right, hole 17. This one, fear rating 18, handicap 18. This is supposed to be the easiest hole in the golf course. It felt like it was going to be the easiest hole in the golf course by the look of it. There's houses along the right side, but the left side is open. Plenty of room. 509 yards, not super long for a par 5, at least not from the black tees. Fun rating 16 because, well, let's check it out. It's just, I mean, it looks a little bit like you're just going alongside the neighborhood here. Oh, so I don't know. Like, it didn't stand out to me too much visually, except again for those hills in the distance. Man, that view kept impressing me no matter where I was here in the back 9. But all right, so I'm just going to blast away. Not scared of this hole at all. And I think what happened here was I was a little tired. I was on the 17th hole. I was enjoying the heck out of the day, and I just lost my swing there for a minute. I don't think that had to do much with the course or the hole itself. I think it was just me getting tired and coming out of my swing, trying to hit the ball too hard. So if you're a little tired, you should be honest with yourself. I think the psychology lesson here is be honest with yourself. If you're a little tired, don't try to blast your driver. Don't try to do too much with the ball. Just try to hit your shots and stay within yourself. So I didn't do that for this particular tee shot. So here I am. I'm just hitting 3-woods now. Like, I've hit a couple good 3-woods, so I'm like, I'm gonna, even out of the rough to get back into the fairway here, I'm gonna hit a 3-wood. And then here I am again with another 3-wood. This one, I mean, I don't know. I probably should have hit 5-iron. I definitely should have hit 5-iron because even though I hit it good, you'll see I actually went over the green, which was unexpected. And I officially had overused the 3-wood by that point. So I went into the back bunker here, which is not a very, I mean, there's the sand. I mean, it was a little bit wet. It's not a very likely place for you to be, the back bunker here. But I hit a great bunker shot. That was fantastic for me. So I had a chance to save par out of the bunker. Can I do it in the twilight here? No, that putt just turned. I didn't hit a very good putt there. Sad. Right. Back to bogey golf. All right. Last hole, hole number 18. 390-yard par 4. This one, it says handicap 10. I feel like the tee shot, I mean, I think I was hitting like a pitching wedge with my second shot. The tee shot must have been downhill. We can look at it in a minute. And so, like, the tee shot was actually pretty inviting. Like, it was not super scary. But it gets fear rating 3 and fun rating 3. Why? Well, part of it is you're just finishing the course. You're excited. You're finishing this playing this hole that the pros have played. They've finished tournaments have been won and lost on this hole in the past. That's cool. But also there's a water hazard that comes in for the approach shot. And that water hazard has a nice waterfall coming down behind it. And there's the clubhouse back there. And you can just imagine fans lining up watching this particular shot on this last hole. It just has that nice feeling of a finishing hole that could have been on TV, was on TV in the past. So that all is really cool. So let's take a look. This is the tee shot. Again, not super scary off the tee. I don't think this is the widest fairway on the course, but it's also downhill a little bit, as it were. So I was just excited to hit a straight drive, because after that hole 17, I was like, you know what? I'm a little tired. I'm not going to try to overhit this one. Just going to try to hit it straight. And I did. And so then you've got this look. You can see the waterfall over on the left. Lots of palm trees. There's thousands of fans watching you as you hit your approach here to win the tournament. Okay, maybe not, but this is a little bit of an uphill lie, admittedly. I thought I actually hit it better than I did, but there's a section in front of the green. I was over the water. I got a little scared. I was like, is it going to roll back into the water? But I ended up in this section where it's like dry, over the water, but short of the green, and it's not going to kick up because there's this slope. So you can see the clubhouse back there. And unfortunately, I did not film my last putt, or my last two putts here. So this is going to be your last look at the 18th hole, your last look at Kapolei. As I hit the chip, which was a decent chip. There's like I think a two-tier green here, so I hit it up onto the top tier where the pin was. So I was like, cool, I have a chance to save par, and I missed it. Trust me on that. I missed the par putt. Sometimes I miss good shots. Sometimes I miss bad shots. In this case, I missed a putt, and I missed it on the video as well. But I can freeze it on this visual, this green, the 18th green with the clubhouse in the back and the palm trees. So yeah, take a look at that. This was twilight, so the clouds were coming in, the sun was going down. It was quite a fun scene to walk away from. I didn't want to leave. I was like, man, can I just stay here, play again? All right, well, thanks for watching Psychology of Golf. I hope you've enjoyed. This is the second and final, at least for now, the second and final Psychology of Golf in Hawaii video. And for me, on this particular day, I shot an 84 from the black tees. That's a good round for me as a 9 handicap, especially with rental clubs. So I was very pleased with that. I got one birdie in, recovered from all of my terrible 4-iron shots. If you're renting clubs and you're hitting a club that is unfamiliar, just don't even hit it. I'm a big fan of reducing the number of clubs in your bag to only the clubs that you are comfortable hitting, because comfort and confidence is such a big deal for the psychology of golf. So anyway, for me, I also was extremely grateful for the opportunity to be out there. I tried to enjoy the experience and enjoying a golf course, I mean, it's easy to enjoy golf in Hawaii if you can get access, if you can get on a course without breaking the bank. It's so easy to enjoy, and I think that part is the best part. That's the easiest thing to rely on when you're golfing and trying to do well, enjoying the game, So I hope you enjoyed the videos as well. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and I mean, it's just fun for me to relive being in Hawaii myself. So maybe I'm going to watch my own video a little bit now. All right, until next time.